see Dragon Age Dreadwolf at the Game Awards 2022, I will do my next video as a clown.
Bill Clinton.
So originally I was going to do this video as a clown, but green doesn't work well with the green screen, which is a little bit of a shame. So a few things have happened since my last video. The game hit its alpha stage, we got a whole new short story. The Netflix show came out, and it's actually really good, although that could be compared to Dawn of the Seeker. What were they fucking thinking? And fairly recently we actually got a bunch of leaks about the next game, including a look at some gameplay. I'm not going to discuss or show any of it here because it's all subject to change and in the middle of development, but seems to have divided people, to say the least. And I don't want to be stoking any fires concerning those leaks because I'm already going to do so by saying your favorite character is fucking F tier. Instead, today I'm going to go over one of the best aspects of the Dragon Age series, and that is the companions that join you for your journey. So I'll be going over the companions from Dragon Age Origins, and I'll be giving you a general idea of what they're like along with their personalities, and I'll be using a tier list to show how I personally feel about them. I would just like to reiterate how I personally feel. As in personal opinion, as in we can have differing opinions, and I don't need to be shot in the street for saying that Sten isn't a sex god who belongs in S tier, okay? Okay. I'm also basing the characters off of Dragon Age Origins alone. That means no books, sequels, or merchandise is taken into account when factoring in my personal opinion. The Morrigan statue's right behind me, isn't she? Now, you don't understand me, this is a stable financial decision. So with all that out of the way, I'm going to be going in order of when the companions join you throughout the main story. And depending on the path you take, some characters can join sooner or later, but I'm going to be going off of the path that the game subtly hints you towards.
Of course! We could go to Redcliffe and appeal to him for help. I also still think that Arleman is our best bet for help. We might even want to go to him first.
Alright, getting started off with the man who has never licked a lamppost in winter.
How does it feel to be the worst cop ever, huh? Shut up, your mother buys you Mega Bloks instead of Legos.
After completing your origin story and making your way to Ostagar at the start of the game, you will quickly meet Alistar, Junior Grey Warden, and Bastard.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
He will help induct you into the Order of the Grey Wardens, and he will remain with you throughout the rest of the game, helping you to raise an army and defend Ferelden against the Blight. The best way to describe Alistar is to call him a human golden retriever. He's kind, good-natured, and a bit naive, though that only helps endear him to the player. He can be charming and humorous at times, but he also knows when to be serious. All in all, in my opinion, he's a pretty well-rounded character, and the perfect starting companion to those who are just starting out with the series. As the game goes on, he also reveals a pretty interesting secret that affects the plot going forward, as well as leading to your character having to make some pretty world-changing decisions. He's going to go into A for Alistar. Pretty good starting companion who grows with the protagonist as the game goes on. Favorite quote?
Yes, swooping is bad.
What the hell did you do? Black magic.
Okay. Okay. Oh. So anyone that knows me knows that Morrigan is without a doubt my favorite character in the series, and also my favorite romance out of any of the games. So to say that this is going to be heavily biased is a bit of a fucking understatement. So you actually meet Morrigan very quickly after getting Alistar as a companion, but she doesn't join the party until after a major battle near the beginning of the game. She is sent with the protagonist to aid them with her magical abilities, as well as provide insight with her vast knowledge of ancient lore. Unlike Alistar though, she's not very well versed with people. She was isolated from civilization for most of her life, so she's mostly distrustful of people and mostly uses them to further her own ends. She's very distant at first, only aiding you out of a sense of obligation, necessity, and safety. But as the game goes on and you begin to develop a relationship with her, you see her shell begin to crack as she opens up to the Warden and begins to show her vulnerabilities. To absolutely no one's surprise, she's going straight into S tier, where she'll remain till the end of time, along with the stranglehold that she has on my heart. Favorite quote?
How odd. We now have a dog and Alistair is still the dumbest one in the party.
And speaking of dogs,
What the dog doing?
Barkspawn, the loyal Maybari companion that joins you shortly after Morrigan, is getting his own fucking tier above everyone else. There is no joke, there is no meme. He is a good boy, and favorite quote?
Let me see what you have.
No!
Next up on the list we have Leliana, who can be encountered in the small town of Lothering as a sister to the Chantry. She will show up to try and calm a dire situation between the Warden and some punching bags, but when diplomacy fails, she'll resort to just fucking stabbing them. Talk about an act of God. Before she joins you, she explains that she has seen a vision from God, and that it is her duty to help you protect Ferelden from the Blight. And like a reasonable person, you slowly begin to back away to the nearest door, trying to find the handle while smiling and nodding all the way. As she begins to travel with the Warden, she'll begin to tell you about her life before the Chantry, and how she wasn't always as sweet as innocent as she may appear. But fuck can she sing! Hey, Liliana, that's really nice, and I really like it, but we need to be in Denerim by morning, and I want my fucking beauty sleep! As the game goes on, her past comes back to haunt her and places the party within danger, and it also begins to reveal a little bit about the person that she tried to leave behind when she became a sister to the Chantry. There is actually a DLC you can play that shows how she landed in the Chantry and the life that she tried to leave behind, but she also tells you everything that happens in that DLC, so I'm not going to include it in terms of ranking, but my ranking doesn't change regardless. A sweet yet deadly woman who is ready to fight to the bitter end to leave the world a better place than she found it. We're going to put her into the A tier for Andraste's Grace, her favourite flower. Favourite quote?
I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
I object. My client has done nothing wrong.
He killed 27 children and crippled 5.
He's clinically insane.
The first Qunari you meet in the Dragon Age series, Sten. He'll be stuck in a cage mere meters from the building where you meet Liliana, and when you inquire as to why he's in a cage, it's because he butchered an innocent family and now seeks some kind of atonement and believes that imprisoning himself aids in that endeavour. The Warden can convince him to join the party instead and fight the Darkspawn for his atonement, which he kind of easily goes along with, but I guess anything's better than rotting in a cage. They didn't even give me a bucket, where am I supposed to shit? Sten is a unique companion in Dragon Age Origins, because he's our first look at the Qunari people, who are often seen as blunt and fatalistic. Sten encapsulates this sentiment. He's very dry and blunt and forward with the protagonist, though as the game goes on and he gains a bit more respect for you, his personality does develop a little bit. He'll let a bit of humour slip out here and there when conversing with other companions, and he'll be a bit more open with the protagonist about the Qunari people. One thing he'll mention is that he'll try and convert everyone to the religion of the Qun and slaughter anyone in the country that resists. Oh fuck, is that all? Sten, you should tell campfire stories more often. Sten doesn't quite reach the height of other companions for me, and while the comics and other materials have vastly improved his character and made him a major player going forward, I'm still just going off of Dragon Age Origins alone, so I can't really take that into account. For now, I'm going to place Sten in the C category for combat, as that's mostly what he excels in. Favourite quote?
People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of, the elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty.
Hey, you want to play catch the knife? Sure. Man, I suck at this game.
After a ways into the game, your party will be ambushed by a group of assassins and mercenaries, and after a somewhat tough fight, only one assassin will remain alive. Laying on the ground, beaten and unconscious, you'll have the choice of either killing them or waking them up to try and talk with them. If you play your cards right, that assassin will offer to join your party and can be a companion going forward. His name is Zevran, assassin for the Antivan Crows, who was hired to kill you, but having failed miserably in that endeavour, decides to join you instead of running back to his employers with his tail between his legs. Zevran is an easygoing, witty and flirtatious companion who will be watched by the rest of the party for quite some time, most of them believing he'll stab you in your sleep or try and kill you when the opportunity presents itself. Unless you endear yourself to Zevran and get to know him, he'll actually try to kill you again later in the game, though the results are usually not really to his benefit. Getting to know the real Zevran can be a bit tricky, but is always worth it as you slowly begin to see a person who genuinely doesn't believe that they are worthy of your attention. Plus, his banter with the other companions is always a treat. We're going to place Zevran up in B for bisexual boy. And my favourite quote?
Like rotting flesh. Just like back in Antiva City. Now if only you could find me a prostitute or two. A bowl of fish chowder and a corrupt politician. I'd really feel like I was home.
Someone ought to put you in a mental hospital.
Someone should put you in a box floating down the river, Grandma!
Grandma's come to play and she has the power to set your fucking house on fire. Wynne is an elderly mage who can be encountered in the Circle of Magi, and when you get there, things are a little bit tense, so she's not in the best condition. After completing the quest within the Circle of Magi, Wynne will join you on your battle against the Darkspawn, and for most of the game she's your sweet, kind and caring, but slightly judgmental grandma who just wants what's best for you. Whilst a lot of people think that Wynne is boring, I actually find her to be quite endearing when compared to some of the other companions, and after a times into the game, she'll actually begin to open up to you about what happened at the Circle of Magi, before you showed up. And let's just say that Wynn's a bit of a spiritual woman. I would say I'm sorry and that I'll stop with these shitty jokes, but we both know that's not gonna fucking happen. We're gonna put Wynn into B for badass geriatric. And my favorite quote?
But why should you fear death if you are happy with the life you have led? If you can look back on everything and say, yes, I am content. It is enough.
Rock and stone to the bone.
Next up is Shale, the rock golem, who is the only DLC character introduced into the main game. For those wondering, no, I'm not going to be doing DLC characters for other DLC like Awakening. Sorry Nathaniel Howe fans, he's not on the board. Shale though is absolutely on the board. She is a stone golem who is frozen in place when you first encounter her, and after a bunch of back and forth bullshittery involving a demon-possessed cat, you are able to unfreeze her and she willingly joins the party out of, not having anything better to do. Shale also has a massive fucking hatred for, birds, because apparently when she was stuck as a statue, they would just constantly shit on her. So now that she can move around, she is ready for revenge, and honestly, that's pretty fair. At any point in time, Shale is ready to fucking body slam any birds in sight, so it's kind of funny that Zevran's Assassin League is named after a crow.
Bird up.
Shale is a very unique companion across the entire series. We haven't really gotten anything like her since the first game, so I hope there's something like her in future installments. We're going to put her above Wynn in B for Bird Crusher, and my favorite quote?
I will miss this place. It was infested with spirits and undead, but it had no birds. Not a single one of those malicious, spiteful little demons.
I'm gonna saw your wee legs off and turn your hollow leg bones into fucking flutes!
Oghren, the disgrace of the warrior caste, who seems to be the punching bag for dwarven society. And, he doesn't really help his case, and might deserve it? After a bunch of political back and forth bum-fuckery in the capital of Orzammar, he will offer to aid you in your search for a particular someone because he has knowledge that no one else does. He's a berserker warrior with a love for ale and a colourful personality to match, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like him. F for fiery personality. There's no more to this, I really don't like Oghren. Favorite quote?
Shave my back and call me an elf.
Alright, for the last companion, spoilers ahead. I'm giving you a fair fucking warning. If you go past this point in the video, you will be spoiled. I don't know how else to fucking just stop watching.
Oh, you having a bad day? Did you die?
I got shot.
But did you die?
Loghain Mac Tier, antagonist of Dragon Age Origins and all-round dickhead, can in fact become a party member if you make the right decisions. But most of the time, especially in my playthroughs, he ends up losing his head a little bit before that happens. Fuck, I'm funny. He isn't around for as long as other companions, he's only really around for the last few hours of the game, but that doesn't stop him from leaving a lasting impression. And if I was considering other material, especially the Stolen Throne book, he would be S tier, there is no fucking doubt about it. However, I'm only going off of the main game, so for now we're going to place him above Sten in the C tier for cunt, because he's the reason Daddy Duncan isn't around anymore. Favorite quote?
Hate doesn't describe it. I've seen painted, masked lords beat an old farmer to death with riding crops. To this day, I don't know why. Is that hate? I saw good, sensible men fight armored chevaliers with nothing. No weapons, no armies, not even hope of success to see the occupation end. Is that hate?
And that's everyone, and that's my tier list on how I feel about the Origins companions. I'm sure no one disagrees with me or hates me for my decisions. My next video is going to be going over Dragon Age Absolution and my thoughts and feelings on it. General consensus, it's good. I like it. That's it. Fucking spoiled for the next video, I guess. Until the next video, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.